Hi everyone, welcome back to the Corbin Report. This week for our rankings, in week 4, we have a new number 1, and we are going to try something different as well, doing the top 10 and bottom 5. And in the future, I might also do my picks for the week. So at number 1, taking down the Kansas City Chiefs, are the Minnesota Vikings, and yes, you heard me correctly. The Vikings at number 1 in this week's rankings. They blew out the Houston Texans, which to me was surprising. Sam Darnold only completed 17 out of 28 passes. Not a lot of throws or yards, but in his throws, he was efficient, throwing for 4 touchdowns and 181 yards. Also, let's not forget, the Vikings defensive coordinator is Brian Flores, who also coached in New England. And they do have veteran cornerback Stephon Gilmore. To me, I thought they lost all their defensive players. But the new people they have are stepping up and just keep surprising me. And then for all of us doubters, they will have another test against rival division Green Bay Packers. So will we see Minnesota flail being Minnesota? Or will they show everyone they are the real deal? Now, moving down one spot to the second are the Kansas City Chiefs. And they won in a close game against the Atlanta Falcons. And because of the Vikings who are playing in the Chiefs close games, have the Chiefs at number 2. Now, moving on from 3 to 10, let's see where your team is. Have some teams moving up, some moving down, even though they won. Moving up 4 spots to number 3 are the Detroit Lions, who defeated Arizona, who has been hot and scoring plenty of points. The Lions came back after a loss to Tampa the week before, who lost to the Broncos. Now, moving on to the fourth spot in a game they had pretty much handled until the end, which I didn't watch the game. I just know they were winning, and they ended up barely winning by 3, are the Baltimore Ravens. And this team moving up 6 spots to number 5, it's mainly because of their defense. And also, I saw a post the other day, it said the Steelers have the top defense in the league. They do have TJ Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, Patrick Queen, who they got in the offseason, and veteran legend Cameron Hayward. This is the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 5. With questions on offense about Fields starting, and the Steelers they still have been winning with that. They were losing to the Chargers and came back to win. But don't forget, the Chargers did lose Herbert. They seem to have an easy start to the season. The Falcons can win games and win against them. And the win against the Falcons was making the Steelers look good. The Steelers play the Colts this week, who beat the Bears. So the game of winning will be difficult. The Steelers have... Excuse me, I read that wrong. Yes, I have notes. The Steelers play the Colts, and the Colts beat the Bears. So this game, whoever's winning will be difficult. The Steelers have the defense, while the Colts have the offense and don't really have a defense. However, they did hold their own to the Texans, so let's see what happens this week. Now, moving on to the second half of the top 10. Moving down 2 spots, despite they won in a blowout fashion, are the Buffalo Bills. And yes, they won, but they did play the Jaguars. Allen went off throwing 4 touchdowns in a rout of the Jaguars. I thought about putting them higher, but they did blow out in a blowout win, but it was against the Jaguars, who have yet to win a game and might be one of the worst teams unless they can turn around. Of course, it's all my opinion with some stats from NFL.com for stats and numbers, but everything else is my opinion. Now to number 7, this team moving up 6 spots is one of the Birds, and they played a tough game against a Southern NFC opponent. And they squeaked it out, but it was not easy. It is the Philadelphia Eagles. They looked like the team they were when they made the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts didn't throw any touchdowns, and he threw an interception, but he threw for 311 yards. But Saquon Barkley helped with 2 touchdowns. Now, moving up 7 spots to number 8 in the top 10 are the Green Bay Packers. And yes, they do not have Jordan Love, but without Love, no problem. Backup quarterback Malik Willis was facing his former team, the Titans, and despite Titans quarterback Levis throwing for more yards, the Packers came out victorious. This week they face the Vikings. Will they defeat them, or will they lose and Minnesota reel? This team moved up 7 spots to 9 and is one of the last teams in the top 10. It is the Seattle Seahawks. Also, probably one of the most surprising starts this season, other than the Vikings. They do have a new head coach in Mike Macdonald. Offense seems to be clicking. Defense to me is questionable, but even with that, don't forget, Mike Macdonald was the defensive coordinator for the Ravens. Maybe he's doing something right. Now, rounding off the top 10, not sure how everyone's going to like this one. It's going to be pretty interesting. This team has a quarterback who is back and ready to play football, and they won their last game against the New England Patriots. It is the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers is back. Granted, he played a team who I think have a good defense, but could use a little help offensively. Now, going down to the bottom 5, instead of starting with the worst team, we'll go with 28 and we'll end with the worst team. A little heads up, we do have a new worst team in this week's rankings, so stay tuned. At number 28, moving up a few spots, we have the New York Giants. After a surprise win against Cleveland, Jones threw for 236 yards and 2 touchdowns. Rookie Malik Neighbors had 78 yards. Not a lot, but had 2 touchdowns. Then at 29, also moving up a few spots, after benching their quarterback and going with their backup, who threw for 319 yards and 3 touchdowns in the win against the Las Vegas Raiders. Tell you in a second what it is. It is the Carolina Panthers. Now at 30, we have the Cleveland Browns. They lost to the Giants, which isn't really much to say about that. They had a chance at the end for a drive and win, but failed. At 31, this team got embarrassed and is by the Buffalo Bills. It is the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't have anything to say, but can the Jaguars turn it around? They do have a head coach who has won a Super Bowl. And a new number 32, just like we had a new number 1. Now the worst team in the NFL. They can put up points and stay in games, but they just can't seem to win a game. Will Levis threw for more yards in this game, but also did throw 2 interceptions. It is the Tennessee Titans. So that is something new we're doing. We're going to try it out, see how it goes. Top 10 and bottom 5. And I also might start adding some picks. And if you'd like to see where your team's ranked, if they are not in the top 10 or bottom 5, we'll see if I can post them on some social media. Go ahead and check it out. Corbin Report. Talk to you soon. See you next week. Bye.